Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before you do anything else, go ahead and subscribe and activate those notifications by clicking on that bell icon below. So this is part 2 to my erotic paintings video. I will be showing you the paintings that I've done since the last video. There's new, and I just want to share that with you. You know, I do love to paint a lot, and erotic art is something that I really enjoy painting. Kind of like this hoodie I painted of 3 bananas. So on the last video we left off that I was doing very small scale paintings because I'm running out of room and they're easier to keep, and it's something that challenges me because I'm not accustomed to small painting. So now I want to show you 2 more that I added to the last you saw, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here's 2 new ones. Once again, I'm removing the face to making the person anonymous. You don't know who it is, who they could be. Emphasis on the member, bright color, the blue, strategically using blue because of the word, you know, your blue, fill in the blank, and really just focusing on a great physique, a great chiseled abs. And these are actually very fun to make because they're fast, it's easy, there's not a lot of detail involved. That facilitates it for me just because detail on a smaller scale kind of like gives me anxiety. Now here we have Paul. He's actually someone that exists. I don't know him personally, but we're friends on social media. He had this photograph of himself that I wanted to recreate. But I added these faces that I use a lot in the clothing that I make. You know, because it has the X on the eye, like this has something X-rated. Also, they're slobbering, you know, like it's so common for people to gawk at other people, you know. I don't think it ever feels positive when you're being gawked at or looked at in a very objective form. So with this painting, I wanted to capture that, the way that people can gawk at you, the way that they can make you feel like an object, you know, and objectified. I think it's beautiful when people show their bodies and stuff like that, and I don't think that gives us a right to gawk at them or to objectify them just because they are showing their body. I think sometimes, because I like to show it on social media, but for me it's more about just empowerment and accepting and coming to terms with my own body and how I feel about my own body. And a lot of the times when people do show pictures like this of themselves, it's more about themselves and not about how people are gonna interact with the photograph or how they want to be viewed by others. I think it's 9 times out of 10 it's more about one's self-growth and acceptance with our bodies, and we should not gawk or objectify people. I'm a huge Pablo Picasso fan, and I had done this painting of this plant first, and that's all that was on here. I thought this is kind of boring, let me add something on there. So I was always very intrigued by this painting done by Picasso, the dream of this woman, you know, loving on herself. And I just wanted to recreate that. But I did in this one make a bigger emphasis on the penis that's hitting in the original in the face, but I made it a little bit more obvious. Picasso capturing that intimate moment with oneself was, it's pretty iconic, and I wanted my own version of it, and I'm actually pretty pleased with the result. It was very fun to create, and I love the brightness, the textures. This one's a very textured painting. Oh, the phallus. I've always been very intrigued by those golden halos like in Renaissance art, and I wanted to do that with a penis, you know, kind of revered, make it holy. It is revered, and it is symbolic in so many other cultures. There's shrines made to penis, so I kind of wanted to recreate that in my own form. I enjoy the juxtaposition of the sunflowers. The background was very much inspired by Basquiat, the scrotum very much by the hearts of Keith Haring. So there's a lot of pop art elements in this painting that I really appreciate. Keith Haring is someone who I do reference a lot, and with this painting of this vulva, brought in the Keith Haring heart, added lots of pattern because I gravitate a lot towards paintings with pattern, and I think pattern makes images or imagery more interesting when utilized correctly, and I think it does so here. There's such an array of diversity in my pattern usage that I find very interesting, and then with this vulva on top, it's a very sensual sense of harmony, but almost a little grotesque, you know, with the white that I added on there to simulate the semen. It wasn't necessary, and I think it would have worked without it, but just adding it, I think, gives it this sense of vulgarity that I kind of dig. Like I mentioned, I'm a huge Keith Haring fan, and here I took 3 different images of his and put it into one, adding a little bit of my style that I do with the stripping, and once again with the pattern of the circles and the dots, combining different mediums with the metallic markers, the acrylic paint, and I don't know, I just think it's a unique composition, you know, these three Keith Haring pieces, one of which is very famous, and I think when we think of Keith Haring's work, this automatically comes to mind, or variations of this. This is a little bit more known, but I think what's not so known is this one here. And I think this to me speaks to me, because sometimes we think with the wrong head, and I think this is what it's about to me. And it's like that moment when you make the wrong decisions, when you utilize this head, it chokes out the other one. And I don't think, I mean, I find that very whimsical and comical and very real, actually. So here we have, you know, the vulva again with the same Keith Haring heart motif, but on a much smaller scale. We have one by itself, and then we have the other one with the penis. I think just like the folds of the vulva can be very, you know, beautiful. It's very organic. It's very like plant-like, you know, almost referencing the florals done by O'Keeffe, but very simplified here, almost elementary, and then with, you know, a heavy textured background with that pattern again that I like to utilize. It's something that can be very graphic, but done in a very playful, childlike manner that it almost, to me, removes the sexuality of it. And I don't know, it's something very adult done in a very child simplistic way. And for me it works. It's cute, kitsch, but bright and colorful, cheerful, like it's light. So this was supposed to be a portrait of someone that I know on through social media, and I liked this photograph of them because I was very attracted by the shirt they were wearing, was of the American flag, and it popped a lot. Visually, this photograph of him really caught my mind, and I thought this is going to be interesting to paint, but I couldn't get his face right, and I couldn't do it, and it was just so frustrating. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? So I just thought, hey, let's just make it a penis wearing an American flag shirt, add the halo in the back. I happen to love it. I think it's very cool. I mean, I don't think I've seen anything like this before. Or these, you know, the Renaissance halo that kind of gives this religious tone to it, and then the American flag, this patriotic symbol, and then the penis, and the three kind of saying something all at once. I don't know, it's very interesting. It can lead to very interesting individual interpretations of what this could or could not mean. I've also painted lots of plants, and cacti are one of my favorites to paint, and here I just took it and made it resemble the phallus, and I think it's interesting. It's playful, very light hearted again, and then the hearts in the background. It's a fun painting. And, you know, the penis is fun, so I think, but then the cactus is not fun. You know, it could be bad if you touch it, so it's an interesting contrast there. You know, here I was thinking about Skittles, Taste the Rainbow. Once again, the Keith Haring heart makes an appearance. And also this whole idea of a circle jerk I thought was sexy, so I did that. And then I guess each color, because, you know, the penises does come in different shapes and colors, so I thought it was appropriate that each one was a different color. You know, and there's flavors for everybody here. What's your flavor? What's your favorite? Well, I hope you enjoyed this second part to my erotic paintings video. If you haven't seen the first one, check that one out. Let me know which one's your favorite painting. And if you're interested, you know, you can always follow me on Instagram and DM me. Stay up to date with what I'm doing artistically. You can see more of my stuff that I do there, because I also do things on clothes. And that's it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe and activate those notifications, and stay tuned for part 3. That's it for today. Adios y bye. Oh, also remember to support your local artists, buy local art, support your local art shows. Anything that has to do with your local art scene, support it. And it's always better to have original works in your house than something you buy, I don't know, from Hobby Lobby or Michael's or one of these places that just generate printed art. That say no to mass-produced art. Get something else. Get something original.